Lasagna is one of the most loved comfort foods in the entire world, but today we're putting it to the test. On one side, we have a budget-friendly lasagna that you can make for less than $10. On the other side, we have a luxury lasagna that's gonna cost you about $100 or more to make. The question is, does spending 10 times more money make the lasagna 10 times better? Today we're gonna find out. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. All right guys, let's talk luxury lasagna. The first step or key ingredient here is gonna be the protein choice, and today we're using oxtail. Oxtail is full of fat and flavor. It's relatively expensive these days, as most of you guys know. So this is gonna take our lasagna over the top. I'm gonna season this real simply with salt and my all-purpose seasoning. We're gonna sear it and then get it into our pressure cooker, or you can use a Dutch oven. It's gonna take a little bit longer. We're gonna basically make an oxtail ragu. That's gonna be the base or foundation of the sauce for our lasagna. All right guys, so for those of you that haven't made a ragu before, it's basically a tomato-based meat sauce using a mirepoix, which is a blend of onions, celery, and carrots. We're also gonna throw in some garlic, some good quality wine. This is about a $50 bottle of wine here. You don't really have to use an expensive bottle, but we're making an expensive lasagna, so I just grabbed one of these. We're gonna throw a little thyme in there, some tomato paste, some hand-crushed San Marzano tomatoes, if you can find them. Really good quality product. All right, so after you add your tomato paste, everything's gonna kind of thicken up a little bit. You wanna make sure that the veggies are starting to get soft a little bit, kind of get tender. At this point, we're gonna go ahead and add the wine, but you want the heat to be nice and high. That way the alcohol can cook off on the wine. So about 1 cup of good quality dry red wine. Make sure you taste as you go. Pretty good. Give this a minute or two to kind of cook off and reduce, and then we're gonna go in with our San Marzano tomatoes. All right guys, so while the oxtail is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the budget-friendly lasagna. This one comes together super quick, easy, and inexpensive. You can have this on the table in less than an hour, and you can eat a full-scale lasagna for around 10 bucks. We're gonna get the party started with some ground beef. We got 80/20 ground beef that we found on sale for $4 a pound. You can find these sales all across the country. When you do, grab some ground beef and put it in the freezer for times like this. We're gonna add that with some onion. Keep it real basic and simple because we're trying to keep it at 10 bucks. Now, when it comes to budget-friendly recipes, you're not gonna have the extras like, the expensive add-ons and whatnot. So you gotta do certain things to elevate the flavor and still make this delicious.
And this episode is sponsored by ManyChat. Being a content creator isn't just about getting views. It's about providing value in a meaningful way for the viewer and a lucrative way for you. As you guys can probably imagine, I post recipes almost every day, and people are always asking for the full recipe link, my online store, or my cookbook. Instead of replying one by one, ManyChat automatically sends them where I want them to go, to my website. If someone comments recipe on my video, ManyChat instantly DMs them the link to my website. That traffic means more ad revenue, more cookbook sales, more seasoning orders, basically more money. It's like having a sales funnel that runs 24/7 while I'm busy cooking, filming, or just living my life. ManyChat turns viewers into customers for me. Now, if you're a content creator too, or you're about to start that journey and you want to actually make some money from doing this, this is the tool that I suggest for you.
Click my link below for a free 30-day trial to ManyChat Pro and turn viewers into customers.
One of the keys when doing something like lasagna, basically anything that uses a ground meat, is you want to get good crust on the ground beef. So you want to make sure that it's making good maximum surface area contact with that skillet and ensure that it's getting a nice color and crust. That's going to add flavor and texture to your lasagna, which is going to help, being that we're not using a lot of extra ingredients here. So just make sure there's getting some good crust on the bottom side. We're going to season this up and then start to break up the ground beef. Then we're going to add in our onions and garlic and build our sauce. AP seasoning, a little Italian seasoning, things that you have in the pantry. Quick reminder guys, this recipe and every recipe you see on this channel can be found at MrMakeItHappen.com. All right, guys, so one of the keys to making lasagna, whether you're balling on a budget or splurging, is to make sure that you don't overcook the pasta. So here we have some lasagna sheets, nice and budget friendly from the grocery store. You want to cook them about 50% of the way. That way they hold their shape when it's time to go ahead and bake them. They're going in the oven for 30 minutes, so they're going to continue to cook. So you don't want overcooked pasta. Your lasagna is not going to hold together. Next up, pro tip, for the cheaper store-bought sauces like the one we're using today, they're typically a little bit more on the acidic side. So we're going to add a little bit of brown sugar to counterbalance the acid in the sauce. So give that a good mix, and you have a delicious meat sauce for your lasagna. We're going to make our ricotta cheese mixture with just some simple ricotta from the store. Costs you about $1.50. And then we're going to add some shredded cheese and some seasoning and 1 beaten egg to that as well. The egg is going to help everything hold together, give you those nice layers that you look for in lasagna. All right, guys, first up we have the budget-friendly lasagna. $10 for a whole casserole dish of lasagna, 6 to 8 individual pieces. Looking at $1.40 to less than $1 per serving, depending on how you cut it. I cut mine pretty big. I'm gonna go ahead and get in there and see what we got. See how this compares to our luxury lasagna. Can't beat that for $1.40. Classic lasagna, very, no extras, no frills, meat sauce, cheese. It's solid. For the price, you can't beat it. Flavor-wise, there's a couple things you probably do to elevate it, and that's what we're about to do next. But for $10 or less, if you're on a budget, it's a good recipe right here. All right, guys, one of the ways we're elevating the luxury lasagna is making a truffle mornay sauce, which is basically a bechamel sauce, just adding cheese to it. So bechamel is one of the mother sauces, very simple to make. You just make a roux with butter and flour and then milk. Real simple. Only difference here for mornay is we're gonna add cheese to that. So 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour. We're gonna whisk that together. Then we're gonna go in with 4 cups of milk. Kind of the foundation for anybody that makes a mac and cheese with a roux, similar concept here. I like to cheat and add a little MSG for added flavor, so I'm going to add that now. It's also traditional to add a pinch of nutmeg, so we're going to do that. And then just salt and pepper. For cheese, you can use Gruyere or you can use Parmesan. Anything in that kind of fancy cheese category. You can throw a little Asiago in there if you want to. Gently whisk in 4 cups of milk. We're to bring this to a boil and then reduce it down to a simmer, at which point we'll start to add in our cheese. First, we're going down with a layer of our red sauce. Then we're going to go down with a layer of pasta, followed by more red sauce with the meat, mornay sauce, cheese, and then we're going to repeat that until we can't fit any more into our lasagna casserole dish. All right, my friends, here we have the luxury lasagna. We have a oxtail ragu lasagna with fresh pasta, fresh-ish. We got it from Wegmans. You can get whatever pasta you like for yours, or you can make it fresh if you're that type of chef. But today, we use the ones from Wegmans. Fresh pasta, oxtail ragu, truffle mornay sauce, $100 or so. Let's see if it's worth the extra money. Oh man, I'm liking the crispiness of the edges here on the lasagna. The layers are coming through nicely. It's meaty, it's cheesy. Jesus. All right, the verdict's in already. It's worth the money. Costs 10 times more. It's 10 times more delicious. I'll let the cameraman come check it out. I might end up eating that.
That's good. Yeah.